This prison story is brought to you by J.S. Corner. I'm going to have his link to his channel pinned at the top of the comment section. Y'all go check him out.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Nah, bro, I ain't going for it. Oh, thought I was young, you could try me. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, hold up. I gotta address something real quick. I see the comments. I see a lot of people saying stuff like, dude don't even sound that tough. And it wasn't like that. Yeah, that's what y'all think. It wasn't like that. Well, let me tell you something. Now, I know a lot of my stories might depict me and my people like we superheroes or something. Like we superhuman beings that defy the odds. But I'm here to tell y'all, that's not always the case. Now, this story that I'm going to tell y'all today, this is about a fight that I had that happened in county, y'all. This is before I got around my cousin and all the Bloods. This is just me on my own. So I'm going to let y'all know from the rip. JS Corner, I could hold my own. I stand tall, 10 toes down. Ain't a fight I'm backing down from. Believe that. So, my journey started early in the county. But before that, I had already had my training in juvenile, in boot camp. Come on, y'all, stay with me. Y'all talking about a 4-time offender. Yeah, y'all. You know when they say 3 and they throw the book at you? Well, I got 4 and they couldn't throw the book at me. Why? Because I'm smarter than the average black man. I get me a Jewish lawyer every single time. Now, anyway, y'all, enough of dropping jewels for the YNs. Let's get to the story. Now, I know you saw the thumbnail and you like, dang, did that really happen? Yeah, it really happened. And maybe in a live or something, I'll show y'all a little clearer the scar on my face. But yeah, I got slashed in a prison fight. And I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to take you step by step how it happened. Now let me explain something for people that might not know. When you're in the county, first of all, you got on greens. What they call them, county greens. And that's if you're in the workhouse. You got on orange if you're just in holding, and beige is for something else. I don't know if that's the ones they keep on lockdown or whatever, I forget. But at any rate, depending on how long you're going to be there, you end up in the workhouse. And you could be around people that's sentenced, just waiting to go downstate, or people that's being held on stupid bonds like, man, I done been in there with people that couldn't get out on a $500 bond. They had a bail for $500 and couldn't get out for child support or something crazy. And it's like, dang, that's the only problem you got? But then you got people that's in there fighting a sentence they're not sentenced yet. So pretty much that's like time served. So if they do get sentenced, all that time account toward time served that they was in the county. But pretty much what that means is either they don't have a bail or they can't afford bail. So some people could be in the county for a year, 2 years, fighting their charge, but they just can't afford bail to go home and fight the charge. They got to sit there while the lawyer do what they do. Now, Sometimes I'm not gonna front. Staying in prison when you know you guilty, you know what the outcome gonna be. You can fight it all you want. Your lawyer gonna get you a better term, but you going to prison one way and another. So whether you get 10 years or 5 years, that's the only difference. But staying in prison, at least you're getting that time served. Go ahead and start your sentence, young man. You know you're going to get found guilty. Go ahead in there and serve that sentence. So, when you're in the county and you're around all these different types of people, you never know who's who. But you're always guaranteed to bump into somebody that you know. More than likely, somebody that you know is up to no good. Now, a dude will come into the pod, and I would know this dude, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this thing. I remember, we got in shootouts, all types of stuff out there around the way. So I remember the dude, and we definitely didn't like each other. He was from a neighborhood a little bit further away from mine. Now, as soon as he saw me, he already knew what it was. And we got kind of like a thing on site. If you see your op, it is on site. Because if somebody go back and report that you ain't, get at dude, you just let him disrespect your peoples. So this dude crossed my path. His name was G Code. And he would say, hey man, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. You know we gotta set that fade up. And I'm like, shit, say no more. You ain't said nothing. It is what it is. What's good? Now, I had been in the county for at least a month before he got there. I'm already acquainted with the people in the pod and whatnot. And not saying that I got backing or nothing like that. I'm still on my own. But I sit at the table with the people from where I'm from. All that. Now, I wasn't big on weapons when I first went in. That wasn't something, because I was always under the assumption, well, not assumption, I knew, but I was always, let's face it, scared that I'm going to get a street charge. And, all the OGs kept telling me, hey, listen, young blood, I hear what you're saying. You got a life, you want to get back out there, but this is prison, man. If you don't protect yourself, nobody gonna protect you. You gotta let people know that you ain't to be played with. And I start thinking to myself, like, you know what? On them streets, I wouldn't get caught without it. On them streets, I always had that hammer on me. So I'd rather get caught with it than without it. I guess it gotta be the same way in here. I'm just gonna have to risk my freedom and always have a weapon available. Now they said, now listen, if you want to do the smart thing, you don't always got to have a blade on you. Just keep one of them little number 2 pencils in your pocket. Now when you first come in, they give you these little miniature pencils. And that's so you can write your letters home and whatnot. But you can sharpen them joints up real sharp on the tip with that lead point. Well, it's not lead, it's number 2. But you know what I mean. You get them joints real sharp and just have them in your pocket. And that's a weapon, y'all. People might not realize it. They just think you got your pencil in your pocket if they search you for your letters and whatnot. But realistically, you take that bad boy out and that's a weapon. Now, I had to think strategically, y'all. I had to think about how I was going to run this fade and not get caught. Because my objective was to get out of the county and head down the state with no street charges, y'all. I was already sentenced. I was already going down for my bid. Now, I ain't have no problem at all fighting or whatever came with it. But I did not want to get more time added on to my already 10-year bid. I mean, it's double digits. You can consider it a football number, but it's a light football number. And I'd like to keep it light if possible. Maybe even get some good time. But this joker from around the way want to test me. So I'm going to have to show and prove. It is what it is. If he got to get this work, he got to get this work. Now, I wasn't naive to think that old boy wasn't going to come to the fade with a weapon. I knew he had to have people in there already. He knew people in there from the neighborhood. So if somebody had to slide him a lock or a blade or something, and I was going to be ready for it, y'all. Now, mind you, you talking about me, J.S. Corner, Golden Gloves trained. That's right, y'all. My hands is serious. I'll put you on your back. 6 foot tall, I don't care. You taking a nap. Fuck around and find out. Now listen. When I say this dude G Code, he was about 6 foot. He might have been 6'1". I'm only 5'8". I'm built like a boxer. And I have no fear. If you want to fight, we're going to get it on. Now, mind you, y'all, at this time, I'm fresh in on my bed. I'm in the county. I ain't downstate yet. I have no influence on the COs. So we strictly got to follow prison rules. Don't get caught. Either the yard or the bathroom or a cell. But we both said, nah, we not locking in the cell. We need some room. I really want to rumble with dude. I really got beef with dude. So we're going to get that work in. And win, lose, or draw, we're going to walk away from this or not. And it is what it is. I'm like, I bet. So I go ahead back to my cell and I start getting ready. We decided we was going to do this at rec, outside in the yard. It's a spot, a little cut spot between 2 buildings where the watchtowers can't see. So if you slip in there, you could go ahead and get your fade in real quick and let it be done. With or without witnesses. If people come and watch, that's what it is. But nobody's supposed to jump in. None of that. Because then that warrants other prison rules to fall in place. Now, I'm back in my cell. And in the county, we got single cells. At least my county, we have single cells. There's some pods, but depending on your level, maybe, I don't know. I had a single cell. I'm back in my cell getting ready. And back then, when I mean getting ready, now this is how you be creative in prison. You get magazines and, even if you get mail in that you don't care about or whatever, you get as much paper as you can, as thick as possible, and you want to stick that all around your vital organs in your boxers. So that's the sides and your stomach if possible. And then you got to cut strips of your bed sheet. Make strips, y'all. And you want to tie it around all of that paper, nice and tight, and tie it in a knot. Tie it nice and tight to your body till it's tight. Like now, you just made yourself a vest. It's not a bulletproof vest, but it could save your life. It could be a knife-proof vest. Somebody go to jig you. Well, All that thick paper on top of your skin is going to protect you from that blade possibly unaliving you. And I'm not joking, y'all. This is exactly how we did it in prison. So now you get your armor on. That's what we called it. Put your armor on. And you get ready for war. Now I'm all strapped up. I'm ready to go. Now, only thing I'm walking out there with, y'all, is my fist and that little pencil in my pocket. And honestly, that little pencil is last resort. I'm not even thinking about that little pencil because I know my fists are registered and I'm fitting to break this dude's jaw. Pow! On sight. I ain't never got to square up with him on sight on a fair one. It's always been bucking shots and drive-bys and all that BS. But now we're going to see what that gang bout. So let's go on out to the yard. Now, mind you, I don't got no crew. I don't got no people following me. There's no entourage. There's nobody hyping me up. All I got is the little guy on my shoulder telling me, finish him. Yeah, y'all. I always had a demon on my shoulder. And he ain't never been up to no good. So, when he get in my ear, I got no choice. I gotta follow orders. Now, we get out to the yard. And we quietly walk on over to the spot, indiscreetly, so the officers have no clue what's going on. Now it's time to show and prove. We squaring up. And lo and behold, this dude G-Code actually got some fighting skills. He ain't a slouch. And I ain't gonna front. Dude popping me. He hit me up. He got that reach. So I figured out a way to get inside. It's just like playing basketball. You got to get in the paint. I went left, then quick with the right and uppercut. Bow! Hit this 6'1" giant. Yeah. Your chin. Tap that chin. And now I'm figuring it out. He really slow. He can't determine my next move. So I'm just in and out on him. Bow! Back up. Bow! Back up. Hit him with a hard one. Bow! Back up. Now he's swerving. He groovy with it. Now all of a sudden, I'm sitting there getting confident. I'm like, all right, this dude ain't got nothing for me. Now, I'm not realizing in the time that he backing up, G-Code slick with it. He done came across with a left on me. Bow! Then a right. Bow! And I ain't even realized. I'm like, dang, that shit hurt. That shit hurt. And I ain't saying it out loud. I'm thinking it to my head like, dang, that dude hit hard. And I got mad. And I start K&O'ing. Boom, boom. I'm just throwing shots, body shots. All that. I'm trying to chop him down. Now I'm kicking at his legs. I'm trying to sweep him. Trying to sweep him off the ground. I'm going to get this big dude down one way or another. Boom, boom. And then, y'all, I'm on top of him. Pause. And I notice red stuff is dripping onto his forehead. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's coming from my face. And I'm like, yo, what the heck? I know you ain't hit me that hard. So right away, y'all, I start to pound it on his face. Boom, boom, boom. And I grabbed his arm and I twisted it. And the blade dropped out of his hand, y'all. I'm like, oh, you sliced me? Now, y'all know when adrenaline is kicking in and you don't even feel a punch or a cut or whatever it is at the time. I had no clue he had just sliced my face with whatever type of blade he had in his hand, y'all. He made a blade from, they gave us these plastic razor blades. It's like the little blade inside of it was real, and it was surrounded by all this orange plastic. And if you broke it out, you would get the little blade out of there. He had that attached to something and taped up. That's what he sliced me with. And I had no clue that I had been sliced until I saw that red stuff leaking on his forehead. And when I saw that red stuff leaking on his forehead, and that's when I started to feel it. It started to kick in that, that sting. My face split open. Oh, what you do? I got even madder, y'all. I start punching him all in his face, y'all. All in his face. And then the rage took over. I grabbed in my pocket for that little pencil, and I put that pencil right to his left ear, and I shoved it in with my palm as deep as I could. Pause! Bow! And well, all I'm going to say is this. As far as I know, well, G-Code survived this incident we speaking on, but let's just say I think he's going to need assistance for the rest of his natural born life, because he can't think straight no more. Something went wrong when that pencil pierced through his brain. Now, he got very, very lucky that he wasn't unalive. And so did I. That was my first altercation in prison. My very first fight in prison. Well, let me correct that. In jail, because I don't count the county as prison. That was my very first altercation and fight in jail that could have cost me more years of my life. Now, I know y'all like, how you get away with that? How you ain't get a charge from that? Look, it happened on the yard. Nobody was around. Nobody could verify what happened. I told y'all the guards couldn't see in between those buildings. No inmates followed us because they had no idea that we was about to go squabble and we had beef. And by the time the guards found dude, they was already looking for him because he missed count. Everybody had been back to count already. We talking hours later. Now they think he tried to escape or something because he missed count. When they finally do a thorough investigation and search the prison or the jail, and they find him in between those buildings, passed out, they immediately get the prison EMS, jail EMS, and that was that. They had nobody to pin it on. So I had already had an introduction to this wild, crazy shit before I even hit my first prison yard. So when I got to my first prison yard, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing new. Business as usual. It wasn't nothing gonna faze me. And like I said in all my previous videos, once I landed on the right prison with my cuz, well, y'all already know, it just got diabolical. And I guess I'm gonna let y'all know that's the end of this story. So I got slashed on my face. I learned a lesson, y'all. Sometimes it's not worth it. I could have let dudes slide. I could have been the bigger man and said, you know what? I'm going downstate. Let him go home and tell people what he want to tell people. I'm going to be gone for a few years anyway. I'm not worried about what these dudes thinking about me. But nah, I had to stand up for what I believe in. And in turn, I got slashed on my face. And I'm only lucky that it wasn't a deeper slash. Yeah, I got stitches. You can still see the scar to this day. I still remember G Code punk ass. But guess what, y'all? I don't got a $1.50. And that's just part of prison, y'all. You gonna get nicks and bruises. That's not the first time I got slashed. There was one other time, but it wasn't as severe. But it was a slash. It was a slash. And listen, y'all. That's gonna be the end for this story. I think y'all heard enough about the violence I've been through in prison. Just know you don't want to be there. Prison is not a real place. Things will go down that you cannot explain in prison. And when it goes down, ain't no snitching. I went and got my stitches, and I said I fell down a flight of steps. Oh, what you thought I was going to go rat on homeboy? Nah, he got his prison justice. Look, if you like content like this, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the channel up. Hype the videos. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner, and I'm out.